Hey, gang, welcome back to the first of the worst podcast. I'm Brendan
Start that
Murphy.
over. Start that over. I think it just like glitched out because it was like loading.
Welcome back to the first of the worst podcast. I'm Brendan Murphy.
And I'm Steve Arendas.
And I, within the past hour, have seen someone subscribe to our podcast on iTunes. And it's the first time I ever saw how the process played out. It was very exciting.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we're at least up one download on the week.
Eat it, everybody else who's not us.
Yeah, suck on that, Mark Maron. You got Obama. We got Stephanie.
To be fair, we don't know that we don't have Obama.
If we looked at IP addresses, we could probably figure out pretty quickly. But you're right. Let's keep the illusion alive.
Come on, you can't find his IP address. It's masked for sure.
Oh yeah, but could you not trace it to at least like? Yeah, I mean, you probably can't. We're not smart enough. Let's be real.
No, not at all.
Well, we're doing football season just around the corner. I have my two drafts on Monday and Tuesday of this week. One is at Hooters because we couldn't be any more ridiculously cliched.
Oh, really? I think Buffalo Wild Wings is maybe a step beyond Hooters and how cliched you could be.
Yeah, I guess they're advertising it. Beat-Up's advertising is over the top. You can't avoid it at this point.
I know. Does Hooters at least give you a good deal?
I honestly don't know. I just was told to show up there tomorrow at 7.
We have for one of my well, we're talking about football, fantasy football, actually briefly. The whole podcast is not about fantasy football. This is a little divergent. My buddy's got like a room in his building. He has one of those like big fancy like apartment buildings that have like rental rooms, and we're renting like the theater that has like 20 reclining chairs, and we're gonna have like the draft board on the theater screen.
So Jess will not be manually
not this year. She's probably gotta take care of the kids. That's why the draft board has moved out of my place.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. But I think we're gonna do this a little differently. We once had a sports-based one about the NCAA tournament. We felt like we just yammered on too long about random stuff. So we're going to do multiple lists here. 3 lists each. I'm sure many tangents throughout this.
Okay, and I should say that even if you're not a sports fan, these lists are not really sporty.
No. They'll probably get more sporty as we go along. So just listen now. If it starts to delve into a world of too much sports, thanks for the ride you took.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, absolutely.
But they're gonna start pretty off the wall. Do you want to kick it off, or do you want me to kick it off? I think I will, because I want one of yours to be the last one, because it's like one of yours is the most sporty. So
okay.
I'll start it up. And what I'm going to talk about here are NFL WAGs. So
well, that stands for wives and girls. You're probably about to say that stands for wives and girlfriends.
I think that was like kind of invented by the British tabloids, I feel like. For
the soccer players' hot wives. And like Posh Spice is the ultimate wag.
Oh, we got some arguments here on this NFL.
All right. No, I'm not saying she's the hottest.
But yeah, she's kind of like the pinnacle.
Maybe not the ultimate. She is certainly in the embodies it.
Because like David Beckham was the guy. Yeah, all that good
Even though he was never that good.
Yeah. Well, he was pretty good. He was playing on the national team and stuff. He was pretty good. I
mean, he was never like a top, like maybe at best a top 10 player in the world.
He was never the best player in the world, which exactly.
No, like Ronaldo is better than him. Like new Ronaldo.
Yeah. And old
as
Ronaldo.
Well as old Ronaldo.
That's what we're done with our soccer podcast. But I'm going current. I think every WAG on this list is current. So we're missing some like Nnamdi Asomugha is not in the league anymore. So Kerry Washington doesn't qualify, which would be a pretty good one. And you get you've heard like some old ones and stuff, but like Kim Kardashian's been an NFL WAG before, is not currently so these things don't. I'm going current list.
Okay, I will say just to go off your Nnamdi Asomugha thing, I do have Wes Welker on one of my lists, but I'm that he will play a game this year.
Yeah, I would guess he gets in a game. I don't know about Asomugha. I feel like he didn't even play last year, did he?
I thought he was on the Niners roster, but he was like Roy Jones Jr. As soon as you knew who Nnamdi Asomugha was, he was bad.
Yeah, he like made one more Pro Bowl off name or something. Yeah, because he was on that bad Raiders team.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna kick it off. We're gonna move these a little faster since we have more lists to cover here. My number 10 is one everybody in Chicago should know about, and it's Kristen Cavallari. She hates vaccinating children, and well, it is of course the move of Jay Cutler to throw it to the wrong member of the house. I'm an LC man, always have been.
I'll always have been. Come on.
This Steven would have picked LC. That's a shout out to anybody who actually watched Laguna Beach.
No, Steven picked Kristen.
Yeah, I know.
What a fool.
Everybody apparently does. I don't know.
She must just have some like sort of siren allure to her that we can't really see, besides the fact that she's like a 10.
Well, that's the thing. So let's get one thing straight. I didn't just rank these girls off of how attractive they are. Like, they're dating millionaire men in peak physical condition. They're gonna be good looking.
So, yeah, and at some point, it's like this debate about like where do you get the best burger?
Yeah, like they're all good.
Can you really tell the difference between Au Cheval and Kuma's? Like, they're all really good burgers.
You can't tell the difference, but they're both good.
Yeah. Okay. So can you really tell what's better?
Yeah.
Maybe it would be a better.
Yeah. All right. So my number 9 is a person who I think has no discernible talent. Her name, I don't even know how to pronounce it. I think it's Lilit Avagan. I only put her on here so I could talk about how Reggie Bush dated Kim Kardashian, and then when she dumped him, started dating a girl named Melissa Monero, who is famous for being in Old Navy commercials because she looked like Kim Kardashian, and now is married to this other woman, Lilit Avagan, who's Armenian and looks like Kim Kardashian. So he clearly has an issue there and just had to stick with it.
You could say it's a type rather than an issue, but whatever word you want to go with.
Maybe. I mean, whatever. Number 8 is one of my favorites. Not just the story, because it's Sam Ponder, who is a sideline reporter who's married to a terrible NFL quarterback, which is just great because I always just want her to have to talk about how bad he is, but she's never had to do that, has she?
And she's retiring from sideline reporting, it sounds
like. Is she? Christian Ponder is her NFL quarterback.
And they met while she was working at ESPN and he was interviewing him. I will say it sounds worse than it is. I think that they're like a year apart in age.
Yeah, they're on the same age and all that. Number 7, she might be more famous than her husband now, and she's only famous for being a hot girl in a crowd at a college football game, and that's Catherine Webb.
I mean, she's not Jen Sturger. Jen Sturger's the original.
But she's not currently dating anybody, or as far as I know, not currently getting dick pics from Favre. But Catherine Webb, who is married to, what's that dude's name? I don't even know his name.
A.J. McCarron.
A.J. McCarron. He's a backup quarterback on the Bengals now. He
played last night against the Bears.
I should have actually remembered because of that. Number 6. Now, this is going to be one where people think it should be higher, but I have a few questions for you. Besides being in like the most overrated TV show ever, what does Olivia Munn do? What does an Olivia Munn do? Besides being a great actor,
Daily Show for like a minute.
And she was on some like video game show before that. Like that's how she.
You know what she does is she is just very good at being an attractive half Asian.
Yeah, she's also very good at pretending to be Aaron Rodgers' girlfriend. So number 5 is this one. She also, as far as I know, I think she was a cheerleader at Georgia when Matt Stafford played quarterback at Georgia. All-American story. Kelly Stafford, I think her name was Kelly Hall before, after doing my research. She's just a generic hot blonde girl. There's a million of them. Lauren Tannehill didn't make the list, but Kelly Stafford did, because here's what I know about her. She gets wasted. At their wedding, she was hammered. There's pictures of her just hammered at her wedding. And their rehearsal dinner was beer Olympics. And all she does, so they live in some ex-Detroit Pistons house because he's out there. For those who don't know, Matt Stafford is on Detroit Lions. And she just posts Instagram videos of her raining 3-pointers on this like indoor basketball court at their house. So she seems like a good time.
I'm looking at pictures of her. She's very attractive.
Yeah, well, I mean, they all are. Like I said, doesn't matter.
I think I found a picture of her ass. It's like a bunch of their friends. It's like the reverse of the standard like girls the pool picture. Where they all have their arms around each other, but this is the back one. Like someone was taking a picture in front of them, and some creep came up behind them and took this picture.
Her hashtag for her bachelorette party, because her name was Kelly Hall, was Hall Pass, which is a great hashtag. She's funny.
I kind of love this girl. Yeah,
she's kind of great. She's married to a really fat-faced guy.
Being good at social media is a skill.
It is. It really is.
It like requires some sort of clever to it.
Yeah. Like a quick cleverness. Not necessarily quick, but like succinct. My number 4 is Erin Heatherton, who is a Victoria's Secret angel and apparently dating Jordan Cameron, not Cameron Jordan, Jordan Cameron, the tight end, from the Cleveland Browns.
And which one's Cameron Jordan? He's a defensive end, right?
He's like a defensive end. Yeah. There's a thing in the league about that.
That's right.
And then my number 3, little off the grid here, as far as I know, also just kind of professionally hot, but an older woman. And she is technically a wag to an NFL coach, and it's Linda Holiday, Bill Belichick's girlfriend. Not wife, Bill Belichick's girlfriend. Kind of just looks like she should be in MILF porn, to be fair. But she dresses as a pirate with him in Halloween. They look like they have a great time. I love Bill Belichick. I'll co-sign anything he's into.
You do love Bill Belichick.
Number 2 is a woman who's currently not having sex with her NFL quarterback boyfriend, and that's Sierra. Also one of maybe 2 on this list who I think are probably worth more money than their husband, though probably not for long for her because Russ is getting
He'll be the highest paid player in the league.
But for now, she's still ahead of him. And she's just a girlfriend.
But is her musical career worth the shit anymore?
Yeah, but she still has money, man. Because Russ never made any money, too. And she's on like weird like reality shows and stuff. I'm sure she gets money. And she was dating Future for a while, the rapper, so she probably got some money out of that divorce, and he's loaded at this point. And number 1 was not really a spoiler here. Number 1 was Giselle, because you're such
a see. This is why I wasn't sure you'd pick Giselle on this list, because you're such a hipster that you do the opposite of what everyone would expect.
Yeah, but I love Tom Brady.
But you love the Patriots. So I was really excited about this list.
But Giselle, number 1. I mean, not only is she like a historic like supermodel, but she makes more money than Tom Brady.
Okay, I was gonna say is that the other person on this list?
Yes, she not only is she worth more, she currently makes more money than Tom Brady too. Like I don't even understand how it's possible. It's pretty impressive. But so that's my wag list. You got anybody you can think of that I missed? The only ones I can think of are like there's some other like I don't know, just like professionally hot girls and like I think Eric Decker's dating some country music star I've never heard of or married to. They had a reality show or something. I mean, there's some old ones like
Romo dated a lot of famous women. But
yeah, I think Jessica Simpson,
one, and that girl that's way more
Carrie
famous.
Underwood.
Carrie Underwood, yeah.
He married some like Miss America contestant. Like she was
okay, so she's still kind of famous.
Yeah. And remember Paris Hilton, Brian Urlacher. That's a great little fling. That was a great little fling back in the day.
That was when Paris Hilton was like just coming up.
Yeah, that was like yeah.
Also Urlacher and Jenny McCarthy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Jenny McCarthy is now another non-vaxxer and married to Donnie Wahlberg.
Oh, is she? I did not know that. I have not been watching Wahlburgers.
I don't either. I stayed in for New Year's once, and he proposed to her
in Times Square on national TV.
Yeah, it was awesome.
At least that wasn't canned and planned.
She was the host, one of the hosts.
She's so crazy.
Yeah.
But she has stayed pretty hot pretty late into her age. I was going to say 50. That might be too high. But
I don't know how old she is, but I agree.
She's been around for a long time, but she could have come on the scene when she was like 20.
She might have, yeah. With like Playboy or whatever, and then got on to Singled Out, right? So
she is 42, so I was way off. That's still not very old.
Sorry.
She feels way older than us, but she's actually not that much older than us.
She's been eclipsed by her cousin.
Who's that?
Melissa.
Oh, God.
At least in fame-wise.
Yeah, I wish that they would both just go in like a submarine that didn't actually have air in it.
Shots fired at Melissa McCarthy.
She's a one-trick pony. Come on. She'll be hosting on The View in like 4 years.
Oh, you think? With Jenny? Is Jenny still on The View? Or did she get canned from that? I'm not up to date on my current View hosts.
The big controversy in the View recently was that Rosie Perez.
Wait, Rosie Perez is on the View?
She was, but she quit because Kelly Osbourne, who's also on the View, made a comment about Mexicans. Like, if we deported all the Mexicans, who would clean our toilets? Which is only okay to say if you're running for president.
Which is what Kelly Osbourne left E for, because somebody said something mildly because Juliana Rancic said something racist about a black girl's hair. So
all these people that were just professionally attractive are not that smart, or just related to a famous person.
Yeah, let's pump the brakes on calling Kelly Osbourne professionally.
As soon as I said that, I realized that was ridiculous.
How is the kid not got? How is like Jack not gotten anything out of this? Because like Sharon's like on shows too.
She was on The View at one point, or no, yeah. She's on the Talk.
Wait, there's an Osbourne on each of those shows.
Maybe Sharon's retired from it, or is it the Talk? It's the one where they have. I think she's on the one where they have a chef. Where they've. I don't know exactly which one she's on.
The Chew?
The Chew. No, I think she's on one called The Talk. I think it really is just called The Talk.
We should have a daytime talk show.
It's like
Futureless. Stop talking now. Futureless is daytime.
Oh, I put it on the list. I actually put it on the list this week. Okay. Not kidding. If you look right now, it's already there.
Awesome. Stop talking. What's your first list for the
NFL? Mine are like a little bit more sport heavy than yours, I guess. Mine is best coaches to have at your dinner party.
Oh, I like this. There's a clear number one answer. I'm going to rage when it's not your number one, but go ahead.
I think that I got the number one. Okay. I'll be curious. If not, it's my number two.
Okay.
Unless you want Belichick to be number one.
Well, I clearly do.
Okay, well, he's up there, but he can't be number one. He doesn't say anything. My number 10 is Lovie Smith. I could picture him as a guy who says grace. You know, you need that guy.
You could also like grill master for you, I feel like.
I feel like a lot of coaches are good at grill mastering.
Yeah, I think they could. You're right. We should just
that's the only manly thing. Like they all have a pool and a grill adjacent to it.
And a lot of them are like Southern, so you feel like they could like smoke things and barbecue things. Yeah. Well,
then I went with Mike McCarthy because he grew a beard. And that might make him more interesting because football coaches are not all that interesting.
No, they're not.
Jim Tomsula is my number 8, the new 49ers coach, who is the active leader in the NFL in winning percentage. He's 1-0, coaching Week 17 last year.
Love it. We could ask him why every player on his team retired in the offseason.
And then I have Andy Reid at number 7. Mostly I picked him at number 7 is because they did a portrait of all the coaches in the NFL, like at whatever the coaches meetings are.
Yeah, Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, Hawaiian shirt and sandals. Everyone else was in like the standard coach, like khakis and polo shirt.
Belichick wears weird stuff to those too sometimes, or doesn't go. Andy Reid would be great to just see how much he could eat.
Oh, I mean, who would take leftovers home? Although there are some eaters in the coaching range.
Yeah, there are.
Marvin Lewis is my number 6. He's just a guy I love because
like Marvin Lewis.
He was fun on Hard Knocks. I think he's like a guy who is a good coach, but not like he and Lovie Smith are in like about the same tier of like being like good, and Jeff Fisher maybe being like good but not great, like good enough to not get fired for a long time.
Yeah. Basically, you have to get fired because like people just get fed up for some reason.
Like I mean, like eventually, like you don't really make progress. You kind of stay in one place.
Like Bears fans, me and you, I think were on a small island of Bears fans who kind of didn't want Lovie fired. I believe.
And we're vindicated at this point. I think we can say
that. Bears fans just got like tired of looking at him. I feel like is what happened.
The only real argument, and it is a fair argument, against Lovie was
they never figured out offense.
He could never hire a good offensive coordinator, and he hired like 6 of them.
But there was a good argument of reasons why, because he was always like on the hot seat.
Yes, the Bears never put him in a position to succeed. Every time they were up to hire an offensive coordinator, it's because Lovie had to fire the offensive coordinator or he would get fired. So he was like one step away from getting fired, and he's like, who wants this job?
Yeah, it's going to be a lot like gonna be a lot like
that job.
The Illinois football coach head search that I'm deep in.
Well, they're gonna fire Mike Thomas before they hire a football coach.
Yeah, they got to. All right, let's keep going on this list before we delve into my really depressing Illinois football.
It's hilarious. I went with John Harbaugh at number 5 because immigration's a hot button topic, and he has some ridiculous views on it.
Okay, and you think like his brother might show up too, and then it would just they'd wrestle like after like him and his brother would come over, they'd wrestle after the meal
because they're ridiculous.
Yeah.
Chuck Pagano, I put at number 4 because talk about a guy who has perseverance in him. Chuck Strong. It's not really that funny. Right. It's not really that funny, but
you're right.
It's hilarious. Also, like Bruce Arians, do you think he kind of hates Chuck Pagano? Because he's like been a better coach. He was like a better coach for the Colts than Chuck Pagano has been.
I think he's a better coach than him. And did you invite Bruce Arians?
Bruce Arians did not get invited to the party. I didn't want to have the enmity between him and Chuck.
You didn't also want to like think it was awkward when he didn't remove his Kangol hat at the dinner table.
Oh, does he wear Kangol hats? Now I want to uninvite Chuck.
Yeah, he's a white guy who wears Kangol hats, which is a pretty bold move. I like it.
My dad does too.
That's awesome. All right, so we got
dad look.
It is. Are we on your number 2 or 3?
3. Bill Belichick is my number 3.
All right.
You don't always need to talk, or sometimes you can just absorb the greatness.
Yeah, you absorb the greatness. And, I mean, he would just take it one course at a time, probably. And just eat his food very businesslike. Not give you any reviews of it.
Yeah, if you asked him how it was, he goes, I don't talk about the past, only the future.
Let's get this dessert out here. Let's get this. Who's your number 2?
Rex Ryan is my number 2.
Oh, Rex is a great one.
Okay, these two, the top 2 are people you really would want at your dinner party.
Yeah, I think I know who your number 1 is then. I'm going to be disappointed now if it's not him. But yeah,
Pete Carroll.
Yeah, Pete Carroll. It's Pete Carroll.
Yeah, he's like Phil Jackson of football. He's like so chill. It's great. He doesn't give a fuck. And is also like above reproach. Like Ethan Belichick that if Seahawks had some scandal, it would somehow not touch him. I mean, since that was pretty much proven when it didn't touch him from USC.
Yeah. Do you think he would pass stuff to you at the dinner table, or would he run?
I mean, I love him from his USC days. Like, he did this stunt where Lendale White pretended to quit the team, and then they had, like, it was Halloween, and they had, like, a dummy jump off the building, like, threw a dummy off the building, so it looked like Lendale White killed himself, and everyone was distraught, and then he came out and surprised them all.
Yeah, I love
because that last year at SC, they were Sports Center. It was like Yankees, Red Sox, and USC.
Yeah, that team was awesome. And like fun to like watch and like
yeah.
Matt Leinart just like hanging out at clubs like he's like an NFL star quarterback.
Someone was paying. I mean, like those guys clearly Bush was. I mean, those guys were on a payroll.
Yeah, and Rex would be great as long as there's no women with their shoes off at the table. You're in good shape with.
Oh yeah, I mean, and then after dinner, like about 45 minutes later, he can give everyone a pep talk and go, now go eat your fucking snack. This is the great Rex Ryan quote from Hard Knocks.
It's a great one. Yeah, he was good at Hard Knocks too.
Oh, he's the best coach in the history of Hard Knocks. I mean, he's made for Hard Knocks.
I think Ditka should come back just to be on Hard Knocks.
He'd be drunk the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be great. We need like Rex and his brother on one Hard Knocks together.
The other one sounds like the more unruly one.
It really does.
Rex got
Rob.
Rob. Like the one who got fired from the Saints and just left the complex and walked across the street to McDonald's.
He's great. All right, then I'll start on my next list. So I call this one cliches. So these are things I guess maybe coaches say, maybe announcers say, maybe just people say about the NFL, right? Or like when we're talking about the NFL, things they say, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So let's start. The first one's pretty easy to understand. It's when they say a game is a must-win game, but specifically when they do it in like the fourth game of the season.
Okay.
It's pretty amazing. They do it all the time. Must win games early. So a few of these are pretty boring here. Number 9, Copycat League. It's a copycat league, Brendan. You do one thing, everybody's going to copy it. It's a copycat league.
Well, it is. I mean, that is kind of accurate in fairness.
I guess maybe. But here's my number 8. This is a sky point to Jordy Nilsson's ACL. Deceptive speed. It basically only works with white wide receivers who are referred to as deceptively fast. There's like at least 3 racist things on here, and one of them is deceptive speed. My next one is runs downhill, because I don't understand where the hill is.
Yeah, it's just a euphemism for power, or it's a synonym for power running, but it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, north-south runner makes maybe a little more sense than runs downhill, but yeah. Number 6.
And here's the funny thing: these things you say are on scouting reports that teams use to decide whether or not they will pick a player. These are real things.
These are not like just like dumb.
They
things.
don't make any sense.
They don't at all. My next one is everything that John Gruden says. Just lumping that into one category. My number 5 is a local one, and it's bear weather.
Oh yeah.
Because the Bears are better when it's snowy or rainy and cold or anything.
There's no climate on Earth that makes this year's incarnation of the Bears good. That I think we can agree on.
And we'll get to another list about that later. My number 4 is 2. Well, it's 1 actually, but there's a second hand to it. But it's a high motor player. This is also a high motor guy is always a white defensive end.
It also is big in basketball. It might be bigger in basketball.
It's a basketball one too. They in football you only get it as, I think, defensive ends. You know, Jared Allen's a high motor player. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, well, he needs some nitrous in that motor though, because he's not moving so quick.
Also, the flip side of high motor players, gifted athlete.
Which is like Jadeveon Clowney in every black defensive end.
Yes, it's every black defensive end.
Okay, what's J.J. Watt though?
Well, here's the thing.
He just throws.
He's both. J.J. Watt's both. He's a high motor player and a gifted athlete. It's an unstoppable force. My number 3 is, it's something that's used in all sports, but it drives me bonkers, and it's 110%. 120. Whenever somebody talks about giving over 100% effort, fucking blows my mind.
It's like, you know what also bothers me is that there's a bank called Fifth Third Bank. We're going to talk about improper fractions. You handle my money. So does that mean you're exerting 166% effort?
Good math. Yeah. My number 2 it's my final one of the racist terms, and it's athletic QB / pocket passer / pocket passer. Okay. White. The best is when people talk about how like Teddy Bridgewater is like a scrambling quarterback, and he's not at all.
He's like as fast as me.
He's not at all. He's just black. And I think finally it's taken maybe like 4 years now. People have realized that Ryan Tannehill's not a pocket passer, and that
he's like really fast.
And he's really fast. Well, he's deceptively fast.
He's deceptively fast. Good point.
He's deceptively fast.
Carved up the Bears last year on the ground.
And my number 1, and I don't know when this started happening, but I feel like it wasn't always happening, but it's the National Football League. Why do they just call it the National Football League all the time? Why don't they just say NFL?
I haven't noticed it that much.
Oh, dude.
Well, now I clearly will.
I don't think Ron Jaworski has ever said the words NFL, has ever said the letters NFL in a row.
Well, Ron Jaworski's his own animal.
I think he invented Deflategate too. but that's a whole nother thing.
Okay, let's just touch on it. I hate the Patriots and Brady and Belichick, and I'm sure you're on the pro Brady Belichick Patriots side, but I actually am too because this is
I just have to draft Tom Brady before he gets his suspension removed in fantasy football. Is really what I need to do.
You think he will?
Yeah, or it's going to get lower. Something's going to happen.
They both just drew such a red line. It's such a pissing contest between he and Goodell.
Goodell, how much money does Goodell make? Like $45 million a year?
An astronomical amount of money. But I think
he's like the highest salaried person in America.
Because CEOs are all bonused?
Yeah, because a lot of that's like, it's literally his salary is like $44 million or something, right? Like CEOs or some people like, well, if people who make more than that are either like owners of companies or people who have like stock options and things like, you know what I mean? But like he actually just has like a $45 million salary or something like that.
The only people that have salaries like that are athletes and not in the NFL because Roger Goodell's good at his job.
Yeah. Not in the NFL. And they're not even guaranteed.
It was hilarious when the NBA was just giving free money out like it was Pablo Escobar and Medellin, just like handing bags of money to anyone who's ever played basketball. And it was more than like Drew Brees is going to make this year. And football players, like not like Drew Brees, but like the mid-level guys were going on Instagram being like, what the fuck? Are you serious? You know, like the guys who are like the backup middle linebacker, they're like, if I was a backup shooting guard, I'd be making $12 million a year.
Yeah, they're like, we play the most popular sport in America.
Instead, my brain's failing me and I make league minimum.
Yeah, I imagine a lot of athletes in other sports are getting pissed about that.
And I bring up the Pablo.
But hey, NFL players, if you want to play both ways and only have 12 guys on your roster, I'm sure you can make more money.
Yeah, exactly. It's a totally infallible comparison.
All right, what's your second list?
I actually want to have one side note.
Okay.
Netflix has this this new original series called Narcos, which is like remember when Vinny Chase was trying to do the movie Medellin?
Yeah.
Well, it basically became a Netflix original series.
Love it.
And it is horrible.
Does it star the guy who plays Vinny Chase? Because I don't know what else he's been doing.
No, I don't know what Adrian Grenier. Yeah. There's a scene where he has sex with a woman by using a handgun as a prop.
In Narcos?
Yeah, Pablo Escobar does. It's just absurd. I mean, there's a million scenes like that, but
it's just terrible. Is it the show? This is like kind of going for shock value all the time, and there's like nothing.
Okay, but I'm like continuing to watch it because I'm an idiot. Like I'm like super entertained by it, but I know it's terrible, but I like it.
Well, that's how I started watching Ballers, and I'm just all in on it now. Like I don't even think it's terrible. I think Ballers is better than Entourage.
I quit after like episode 2 or 3. I had a real rough go of it.
It's better than Entourage, but that's because it stars better people than Entourage.
I mean, Rob Corddry.
He's better than Jeremy Piven. If I told you we're going to see a movie, who would you be more excited if I told you was in the movie?
Oh, Rob Corddry for sure.
Exactly.
But he is playing the part that Jeremy Piven created, essentially.
Yeah. Now, if I told you The Rock was in this movie or any other person from Entourage, who would you be more excited about?
Honestly, if it was Kevin Dillon, I'd be like intrigued a little bit. I'd be like, Kevin Dillon.
You'd be like, wait, he got in a movie?
Because he is, of those guys, far and away the best. Like, he's actually kind of a real actor. Kind of.
And then I'd put Denzel Washington's son against any of those other guys, too.
Which one is he? The receiver who fucks around a lot?
Yeah, he's like the wide receiver. Yeah.
Of course, the problem child is a wide receiver.
And
there's a storyline where like that guy's like was on the team and then starts selling cars. That seems pretty far-fetched. I only got to episode 3 or 4.
Whoa, Josh Gordon sold cars.
But he was like famous. So it makes more sense to me. Like the way that Ed O'Bannon.
I think Josh Gordon is currently selling cars again.
He turned down a massive deal at some point, right? I would like to see a list of like the athletes who turned down money. Deals athletes turned down and then got screwed. Like Latrell Sprewell is number one. Yeah, I got to feed my children one, but there are some good ones out there.
Yeah, there's some good ones.
All right, so my second list is most fashion-forward NFL players.
Ooh. So I'm assuming a lot of your knowledge of this is going to come from watching seasons of Hard Knocks.
Only one straight up Hard Knocks pick.
All right, let's hear what you got. Who's your number 10?
I have some interest in fashion. So, I mean, it does align. Although, I mean, like most of the guys on this list I'm not going to be able to wear the outfits that they consider to be fashionable, that are fashionable, I should say. It's just not for a white guy to pull off. They're like too cool. My number 10, and this is because this list did get kind of hard to put together. And you didn't want like the same exact guy after the same exact guy. Like in general, like the really good receivers have like a bunch of cool shit, including like cool outfits and things. But I didn't want to just have like 10 receivers on this list.
Yeah.
And I think part of fashion is expressing yourself and being comfortable with yourself. And for that reason, even though I have a list of the 10 best Bears players, the only list of mine that Jared Allen is on is this one. Because he'll wear a mullet, he'll wear a cowboy hat, he'll wear a leather vest without a shirt on underneath it.
He's taking fashion risks. I imagine there's stuff like that going on right now in the VMAs in the other room my wife is watching, I mean.
Oh, I kind of like I forgot they were on tonight. I always want to watch them. But I feel like you always get a review like instantaneously of anything crazy that happens.
Yeah, you'll see it like tomorrow on the internet. It'll be fine.
Yeah, and I don't know if they're up for a crazy year. They're still like pretty new. They're not that far removed from Miley.
Isn't Miley hosting it?
Oh, so maybe.
Yeah. Speaking of, yeah.
Okay, so my number 9, that's a non sequitur. Kind of the winner of this year's draft in fashion. Danny Shelton, who's a huge ass Samoan dude.
Oh yeah, did he have like some kind of
he wore like a it's super offensive to say Hawaiian shirt, but like a Samoan design.
Yeah, it was like a traditional thing though.
Vest, yes, it was traditional, but
he also made it look formal. Yeah,
he looked good.
Yeah, he did.
And that again is representing what you feel comfortable in and who you are. Number 8, this guy may not play a game in the league this year, but he looked good when he won. When he somehow like basically had a payout machine at the Derby just give him free money, and he was on Molly.
Oh yeah, that's why he got suspended.
And was wearing like a pretty cool fedora.
And the whole Derby. Here's the thing: fedoras are not cool, but you could pull it off at a Derby.
Oh yeah, I mean Wes Welker looked good that day. I think Wes Welker's he's kind of hilarious and kind of a douche at the same time.
Do you think he can think anymore?
Oh, he should not play anymore.
Also, do you think Molly is the best thing for your brain if you had 1 million concussions?
It's not the best thing for your brain if you haven't. So I imagine it's worse.
It's a valid point.
It's not a doctor.
He's not taking the limitless drug.
So I went with Welker.
Okay.
Number 7, this guy's kind of classic. We are kind of in the wide receiver part of the list right now.
Okay.
This is Larry Fitzgerald. Always looks like a consummate professional. He kind of is one of the first guy.
Yeah, he's got like
he's the first guy to do the. He's also like one of the first guys to do the dreads the way he does them. You know what I mean? Like in kind of like a.
It's kind of a professional
kind of way.
A professional
dread, not like the Ricky Williams stoner dread.
Yeah, and it's not like the Alabama football players who have all these wacky designs and stuff, which are cool. But like Larry Fitzgerald walks into your place of business in a meeting, and you know you're in for a real business meeting.
Yeah, and that's important because he's not going to be making money off football for much longer. He's gotten pretty bad at it. Number 6, a guy who looks like he's going to be. So this guy will be the overdrafted guy based on Hard Knocks.
Oh yeah,
sure. Also, an aside, I'm in that league that you're familiar with. I call it the Mega League, where there's a 28 round draft and no free agents. I think I'm going to take J.J. Watt late.
for 10 touchdowns.
He could get like 4 or 5 touchdowns. That's not crazy.
It's not actually the craziest thing ever. And I mean, we've seen him just use the jugs machine nonstop at Hard Knocks.
We know his hands are second to none.
He just one-handed catches off the jugs machine all day long. Multiple episodes now.
Yeah. Although this most episode was more impressive than the first one.
Oh, also, I find J.J. Watt finally had something that I liked on Hard Knocks, and that was that he had a bed in the back of a room. It was the exact same bed he had in his house, so he could take naps, which I loved. Oh, but this guy, it was DeAndre Hopkins. You haven't even said
DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah, he's killing the game.
We know about DeAndre Hopkins is what kind of dog did he say he wanted? He wanted to carry it in a bag because he said it's very European and cool. He also stood up for Starbucks when Brian Cushing was saying it was chick stuff.
Which is funny because Brian Cushing's from like LA and DeAndre Hopkins is probably from like the middle of nowhere, Texas, Alabama, Mississippi.
When Brian Cushing was done saying he doesn't drink, he realized he wasn't a chick, so he stopped drinking Starbucks. And DeAndre Hopkins was like, "But it's good, man. I don't know why you don't drink it." He was like very timidly.
Also, Brian Cushing's not that good.
He's not.
One of the other storylines that they're not really picking up on.
All right, who's your next guy?
But it's Cam Newton.
Oh yeah, wears a lot of like capri pants with suits. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, and he's got the bow ties and he's got the Superman shirt.
Yeah, that's the Superman shirt for sure.
And also, I just like Cam Newton. He became like he filled the Tony Romo spot where people were like, "That guy sucks."
Yeah, I'm in on Cam too.
When everything about him statistically and win-loss wise says he's awesome.
Yeah, he might not have a great year this year though, because they have like a Bears-esque receiving core.
Well, they got that Kelvin and Benjamin injury really screwed them. But he's never he's had like Steve Smith, who he force-fed the ball to a lot. But that's not. I mean, he's kind of made it work.
Yeah, he'll figure out. He won't have a terrible year. He's just not going to put up huge numbers, I don't think.
Greg Olsen would seem like a guy who might be worth a pick.
Oh yeah, because there's nobody else there.
There's no one else. And then I'm going with number 4 is Colin Kaepernick, who's actually GQ's most stylish man in football.
What? I remember seeing him at the ESPYs dressed like a player at the NBA draft in 1997. He had like red like patent leather sneakers on with his suit and with his baggy suit.
Well, he has over 400 pairs of shoes and he's 2 shoe rooms.
Well, what else are you going to do with all that money?
And then when I read that, I was like, that's probably not that unique to like these rich ass NFL players to have like 400 shoes.
No, it's not.
Number 3 is you can't do anything in the league without talking about J.J. Watt. He's like a pretty stylish white guy, and also like a broad shoulder, like a guy who like I could wear kind of the suits he does. Probably not.
No, by the way, this is the best thing you've ever done is compare your body to J.J. Watt's.
Yeah, just like me. J.J. Watt and I are similar in a lot of ways.
Yeah, how many times can you flip
our
that
robust bank accounts?
Yeah, I bet you can flip that 1,000-pound tower at least like 70 times. I know he could do 75, but he's a professional athlete.
Well, he did 75 last week, and then he did 922 this week because he's not on steroids.
You could also probably rap better than him.
Well, that is actually probably true. That one is actually probably accurate.
Are we on your number 2 or number 1?
Yeah, this guy actually says he wants to be a designer, and he is he's kind of the Dwayne Wade of the NFL. Number 2 is Victor Cruz.
Victor Cruz. Oh, he had a cameo. He's on Ballers, by the way.
Oh, I did actually see. Yeah, that was the last episode I watched. Is the one he was on with like some bullshit guy from the Steelers, who I forget his name.
He's on a few.
And then number 1 is Tom Brady because
of course.
Come on, I mean, even when I knew that list.
I mean, let's think about it.
The Patriots a lot of credit here.
He has fashion, like he has sponsorships from fashion company. Well, not athletic apparel companies. I don't know what you want to call Uggs, but
yeah, those are like shoes. That's just like
Yeah.
I don't know what to call them.
And I'm sure he's like Uggs? Been on the cover of like GQ and
for sure.
Yeah. For sure. Tom Brady all day. God, this is a great podcast. We just talk about Patriots all the time.
Yeah, I kind of hate it.
I'm not a Patriots fan, by the way. Okay, we'll get to my third list. It is I love the NFL. I love watching NFL games. I specifically love watching NFL games on TV. So this list is the top 10 things about going to NFL games.
Oh.
I don't know if you've noticed but as time goes on, maybe I'm getting old, but I think it's a combination of me getting old and like technology getting better, but it seems better and better to watch football at home rather than at the stadium.
They've said for all of time, the argument has always been that it's a made for TV sport because it's so new.
Yeah. All right. So my number 10. So some of these will be Bears centric.
Because that's the games you've gone to.
Yeah, in general, yes.
For the most part.
And we're talking NFL, not college, so don't get things confused here.
Don't get on your ridiculous college hires or.
There's some different perks to college. There's some different perks to college football, and some different drawbacks. So this is a little different. My number 10, getting to Soldier Field. There's nothing fun.
That's one of the best.
Yeah.
That's how bad this list is. Getting to Soldier Field, I feel like that if it's not purgatory, it's hell.
Well, number 9 is getting out of Soldier Field. Number 8 is the weather. Number 7 are the bathroom lines. Number 6 is spending $8 for beer. That might be low. I actually don't even know what the price is. Number 5, though, we're getting into some real things. Tailgating.
The Bears are the only team in Chicago that you can really tailgate for. I guess the White Sox actually have a good tailgating scene. No one does it.
I've done it like twice, but
yes. Like rent a bus.
Yeah, you could. But yes, Bears. You can tailgate for the Bears, but the problem is you have to spend all the time getting there and figuring out how to get there. It's not. Now this would be higher. I feel like tailgating would be higher if this is a college football list. I think.
Here's the other problem with tailgating for the Bears games is they're generally noon starts.
Yeah. 3 p.m. starts the best tailgate start.
Oh, no. Night game. Night games, just NFL night games are awesome. I will take all of the bad to go to an NFL night game.
3 p.m. starts the best one to tailgate for. For tailgating, that's the best.
I guess I'm just all around saying I love the juice of the night game.
Monday Night Football is awesome to go to.
They even play the Monday night music in the stadium. And you're like, fuck yes.
Yeah, I don't know why, but that's the coolest thing. It's the most little kid thing for me to think that's so amazing that they play the Monday Night Football music at the start of the game in the stadium. Number 4 is watching football in person. Which is pretty good, but not quite. You can't tell what's going on as much as watching it at home on your TV. Number 3, which I think is an underrated thing, specifically at Bears
games. Number 4 thing on your best things to do about watching football in person is watching football in person, essentially.
Yes.
Okay.
Number 3 is an underrated thing about. Now, this probably applies to most NFL stadiums, but for the Bears games specifically, is making fun of all the fucking morons. Bears fans are the worst people in the world. They might be the worst fans of any sporting event I've
considered. They're White Sox fans with coats. I'm just kidding. That's a Herb Lawrenceism about Blackhawks fans. He calls them White Sox fans with sweaters.
I see. The weird thing is, I think they're Cubs fans with sweaters.
They're just the worst element of both.
Well, I mean,
what they are is just bad sports fans.
Here's the thing. I feel like before the Blackhawks were good, they were White Sox fans with sweaters.
But now that it's a tough ticket.
No, they're Cubs fans with sweaters. And because bandwagon-y too. Number 2, telling people you are going to the game.
Oh, especially if it's a night game.
Just like telling people you're going to the game is awesome.
It's like it's an acceptable excuse to leave work early.
Yeah. See, this should have been number one.
And your boss is just like, okay, that makes total sense. Don't worry about the meeting.
Yeah, you can go early. You gotta get there to tailgate and stuff. I get it.
Or like, I gotta work home from home tomorrow.
I'm going to the
Bears ticket. And everyone's like, yeah, that makes total sense.
I should have
saying like my washing machine flooded is like the same amount of importance as like I went to the game last night. Those are equally imperative. Like you're cool to stay home.
You said I went to the game last night because my number one is saying you were at the game yesterday. Number two is that you're going to the game. Number one is that you went to the game. Specifically, if it's like a really good game.
Okay, and here's the thing: is like when people are talking about the next day.
Yeah,
you could somehow have authority in the conversation just by being like, "Well, I was there, and that play was as awesome as you said it was." And everyone's like,
even though they've seen like 8 replays of it, and you saw it from like really far away,
but no one questions it.
No, because you were there. You saw it with your own 2 eyes.
I was there.
There was no TV magic that messed with you. You saw it. You know what happened.
Absolutely.
You felt it in the crowd. The best things for sure are telling people that you're going or went to the game. It's great. All right. Now it's time, I think, to get into a more nitty-gritty. Well, this is definitely the most depressing list.
And it's our final list. After this, I guess we'll do like general thoughts and our Super Bowl picks.
Yeah.
Mine, which I have made in like the last hour. Yours, which you have not even made yet.
No.
You're like, as we're doing this, Steve is throwing darts. And I know that in the end, I will get his Browns-Lions Super Bowl pick, and I'm pumped. It is the top 10 Bears players.
Oh yeah. And by the way, I'm sure you had to remove Tim Jennings from this list because he got.
Okay, you and I, we agreed with the Bears. We agree on almost everything. Like we were pro Lovey. We were like the last people who liked Tim Jennings.
We were apparently. Apparently, we are the last people who.
He was the 5th cornerback to play last night. Like what the fuck? He's not the 5th best cornerback on like the 30th best team in the NFL. No, he's the 2nd best. Football coaches are just morons.
I don't get it. Does he make a lot of money?
It's guaranteed either way.
Yeah, oh God.
That's like the kind of thing you do if you are trying to lose.
All I'm saying is if I made this list yesterday, Tim Jennings would have been on this list.
And too high.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He would have been too high. All right, let's get into it. This depressing pile of crap.
So my number 10 is a 3-way tie.
Okay.
And it is honestly the only reason I have any hope about the Bears defense going forward is that it's possible that all 3 of these guys are actually pretty decent, if not good.
Okay. Who is it?
And that's Will Sutton, who has been like the best player in the preseason.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie Goldman, who was killing it in the preseason. He's a rookie out of Florida State. Sutton's a second-year player.
Eddie
but
Goldman.
got a concussion yesterday. And you know how that screws guys up.
Yeah.
And Ego Ferguson, who is like the player they always talk about how good he's going to be, but it hasn't actually looked that good.
Yeah, they all kind of play around the same position. It's a good lumping up. Eddie Goldman has a great Jewish name.
Yeah. I wish I would have been at his bar mitzvah. But those 3 guys are like all like decent looking prospects.
It seems like 1 or 2 of them hopefully will actually deserve to be on this list.
And like I think all 3 can actually play together.
Yeah, it seems like it.
If it comes down, if they're like the 3 best guys.
Well,
number 9 is I mean, like I kind of half-assed this list. Not that it half-assed it, but it's just like you could have put like I didn't put Antrell Roll on this list, but a lot of people think he's pretty good.
Yeah, he might be.
I mean, but he's like 32, so what is it?
Yeah, exactly. He could suck.
Having him on the team is worthless.
Yeah, it doesn't help us.
I put Jay Ratliff, who's also like 32.
And suspended for
the first 3 games. It's not a good list. Oh, by the way, Dante Rosario is on the team again. I didn't realize that until I looked at the depth chart. We both agree that he's the worst player in NFL history. That every time a colossal play happens and he's on the field, it's his fault. A colossally bad play, it's somehow his fault. Like I swear to God, he was playing middle linebacker last year with the way we were playing.
I would love to see him like Chris Conte covering him and just like trying to figure out what would happen then.
You're right. He's the Conte of offense.
And it's just Conti, I think, would lock him up. I don't know why I think that.
Here's the funny thing about Rosario is that the Bears have a new coach and a new GM this year, and he's been horrible for at least 2 years, if not 3. And the new regime opted to keep him in as a starting H-back guy.
He sucks.
He's horrible. Number 8, I mean, like, and here's the thing. All the guys I'm going to list are, like, pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they would start on almost every NFL team. So, I don't really know what that means. But, like, all these guys, I'm like, yeah. Like, Matt Slauson is my number 8. Like, you're like, yeah, he's pretty good. If he stays healthy, Matt Slauson's, like, a tier below, like, a Pro Bowl offensive lineman.
Yeah, he could be good. Yeah, you're right. I like that. It's not a flashy pick. You know, he's just a hardworking guy, high motor offensive lineman.
Yeah, I mean, he's like the Bears' best offensive linemen are guards, which is never what you want, by the way. You want them to be tackles. Number 7 is a guy that, like, hopefully he'll be number 1. If the Bears are good this year, he'll be at the top of this list. And he was the biggest free agent signing they made, and he was, like, good in the second preseason game. I don't know if he did anything last night. And that's Pernell McPhee.
Yeah.
Who's like their 3-4
decent. If the Bears defense is even like halfway not terrible, it's because of him probably.
I also would like to say that Willie Young doesn't make this list because they changed to a 4-3 and he was hurt. 3-4 and he was hurt.
And he's probably gonna get cut.
And he's probably gonna get cut, but he's better than a lot of defensive linemen who are gonna make the team.
Yeah. Also, if this was like last year, he was like the best player on the team.
He was the best player on the defense. He had 10 sacks and he missed 2 games. He could have like a 12-sack season. He could have been a Pro Bowler. And now he's not even going to be on the team. He's totally the guy who goes to another team and gets like 9 sacks. While we're keeping Shea McClellan and starting him at middle linebacker.
His 8th position on the team.
Like when they hired the new regime, I was like, at least that means McClellan's gone. They're like, no, we're going to make him more important than he already was. And he's going to be worse at it than he already was.
He's not just an inside linebacker. He's the guy who's getting the headset in his helmet.
The quarterback of the defense.
It has to call all the plays and audibles. Is it racist that they just gave it to a random white guy?
Well, it was Briggs. I mean, like, the last 2 guys who've been that guy are going to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it's true.
And now it's Shea McClellan. Briggs and Urlacher. I don't know. Maybe Briggs doesn't go, but he's like very close to going.
He's good enough to go. If he was on like a team that maybe won more or something, he would go.
Like he's like a way better player than Mike Vrabel.
Yeah. Exactly.
Hard Knock star Mike Vrabel.
Yeah, Hard Knock star.
He's like, just get on the fucking Y spot. It's not that fucking hard, Trail. Jesus, get me someone here who wants to play some fucking football.
So, speaking of another tangent on Hard Knocks, there's no like, who are we rooting? Who's like the guy we're like rooting for to make the team this year? Is it that wide receiver? Is that it?
Easy.
Isn't there usually like there's usually like 5 guys who you're like
sometimes they kind of introduce them at the end though,
and like there's like 5 guys you're rooting for to make the team, and like usually a couple of them don't. But like they haven't really. All we have is like Easy and then like Trail, who we know is not making the team.
Oh, Vrabel hates him. Well, what about Carlos Polk? Like he might have been a bubble guy, but then with the injury to Chris Polk, rather.
Yeah, he might. Yeah, he might. He's like less of a bubble guy now.
But like, I look at him and I'm like, man, like that would have been a great backup for the Bears.
Oh, I'm excited about the Bears rookie running back.
Who is it?
I think Jeremy Langford's good.
Oh, he's a rookie?
Yeah, Michigan State.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I could beat him to that.
Yeah, they drafted a running back for the 2nd year in a row.
And they cut the one in the same round, I believe. Now it was a 4th rounder, right?
Yeah, have they cut Kadeem Carey yet, or they were just waiting?
No, because Tim Jennings was that shitty that they had to get him off the roster right away. I'm still gonna pay him.
Who's your next guy?
A guy that at this time last year, like at like week 4 last year, I'd have been like, he's gonna be in the Hall of Fame, and then like kind of faded, but I still think he's gonna be a really good player. Is Kyle Fuller?
Yeah, we're hoping that his fate had something to do with injuries.
He had one hand,
which is possible. But early in the season, he was like amazing.
Yeah, and like so he's a sure tackler. He's like got good sense for the ball.
Yeah, I think that's a safe. That's a good choice.
I mean, he could be higher potentially.
Yeah.
Actually, these next 5 guys are all like they've all been in a Pro Bowl.
Yeah. Okay.
So Kyle Long is my number 5.
Kyle Long, though
most people I think would probably have him higher.
Yeah, most people love him for some reason. I think
he's awesome. I think he's really good.
I think he's all right.
His position is not as important as the other guys on this list.
That's the problem, right? He's a guard who made a Pro Bowl, but probably didn't deserve to make a Pro Bowl. But he's still like a solid lineman.
But like, I mean, like I've heard like Matt Bowen and guys say like he like dominated Sue. Like he's good. Kyle Long's pretty good.
Yeah, he's a good player.
My number 4 is a guy that like they need to be really good this year, but has been hurt. Has been hurt a lot, and I'm concerned that's kind of going to be his thing. That's Alshon Jeffrey.
Yeah.
Again, another guy people would probably have higher, but I think that the guys at the top of my list are like the top 2 are like without doubt the best players in the Bears. My number 3 is Martellus Bennett.
Yeah.
Like
Martellus is awesome.
Who's arguably the third best tight end in football. His hand. The only thing is he drops some passes he should catch, but like
he gets to some balls that other guys wouldn't get to though at the same time.
Yes, so and he turns 2-yard gains into 8-yard gains all the time.
By just like kind of running over guys and falling 6 yards forward.
He's the power back the Bears never had.
Yeah, he's not like elusive. He's not like running past guys, but he just like you can't tackle him like when you hit him, you're getting drugged for a few yards and he's falling forward. Like that's just what's gonna happen.
He also will hurdle guys.
Yes, which is not a smart move, but it's awesome.
No,
watch.
Especially when you're as tall as he is. My number 2, this guy actually probably should be number 1, but he's a kicker.
he wasn't that good last year, though.
But like, he hasn't missed a field goal in the preseason.
Well, hey, it's gonna be important to make these like 35-yard extra points.
That's right. My number 1 is Forte, who is the best skill position player the Bears have had in my life, because I didn't really get to see Walter Payton play.
Yeah, you were alive, but it doesn't really count, right? Yeah, Matt Forte. Yeah, Matt Forte is awesome.
Yeah, and he's gonna have one playoff game in his career with the Bears.
You didn't squeeze Cutler onto this list? I knew you weren't gonna put him towards the top, so I didn't hear him at the bottom.
No, Cutler's terrible. He's like the 20th best quarterback in football on like a good day. And I remember like trying to make excuses, being like, well, there was like a time where like Cutler and Romo and Cam Newton were like in the same tier. That was ridiculous. That was just in our minds.
Yeah, it was delusional.
It's just like because he could be good. They paid a guy who was 30 based on potential. That's insane.
It's crazy. It's totally crazy. Now there's probably people who like. I bet there's still delusional Cutler fans in the Bears world. You know that, right?
I think.
Oh, dude, I see him. I see him on Facebook on the regular. They exist. They're still out there.
I feel like I was fair with Jay Cutler for a long time. Like there were a lot of reasons that he wasn't good, but at some point you just have to say that he's the reason he's not good.
Yeah.
Like physical tools are one thing, and he has them, but if you are just making bad decisions at a position that is strongly weighted on your decision-making skills, you're not going to be that good.
Yeah, it's a position where guys that don't have physical skills have been very good in the past because it has so much to do with like your head and like decision making.
And he never had the right confluence of like when the receivers were awesome, the offensive line sucked. Now the offensive line's better. Now the receivers suck. Like he never had a good situation with talent around him.
No, but at this point it's too late. It may have been circumstances at some point where he developed these bad habits, just got so ingrained because of all the things around him, but he's never breaking them. There's no reason to think he'll break them.
That being said, if I were to pick a year that I felt like he was going to have a career year, this is it. Because
this is the one that would fuck us over the most.
Yeah, it means that they would keep him for at least one more year when they don't have to.
Well, the dream is Bears draft a quarterback and Hard Knocks, Cutler versus rookie quarterback in camp.
Okay, well, that's the dream for like entertainment purposes. The dream is that Cutler has a huge year and we could possibly trade him. Right? That's the real dream.
Nobody's gonna trade for Jay Cutler.
What if he throws like 35 touchdown passes?
It would be his best season ever, and he'd probably still be like a middle tier quarterback.
I mean, we need Mike Shanahan to get another job if anyone was going to trade for Jay Cutler.
Yeah, that's what we need. For sure.
So that's my list. My Super Bowl pick. So it's kind of out of my hat one. Well, I went with the juggernaut of the NFC, Seattle, to beat. And I think that this team has an offensive line, a vastly improved skill position group, and a terrible quarterback and a great defense. Can you kind of guess who I kind of want you to guess. They're an AFC team.
The Bengals?
No, I would actually say their quarterback is worse than the Bengals.
Oh, let me keep thinking that.
But like he's in that tier.
I don't even know.
The Chiefs.
Oh, the Chiefs.
So I'm going Seahawks over the Chiefs.
Oh, so they got Jeremy Maclin.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's not vastly improved. But Travis Kelce is actually a really good tight end. So like, and they just run. It doesn't really matter if they have great receivers because Alex Smith is horrible.
So I don't hate it. I feel like the Chiefs or the Texans are teams that people. Well, the Texans are a team that people used to always pick to go to the Super Bowl, and they always sucked. Like they'd be like their sleeper pick. Yeah, the Chiefs aren't going to go to the Super Bowl, man.
No, I mean, like, what am I supposed to do? Pick Patriots, Seahawks? I'm trying to be like fun with it.
You know, have to be Chris Berman. I'm sure who's picking Patriots, Seahawks.
Oh, Chris Berman's picking Bills, 49ers, dude.
Oh yeah, you're right for the 800th year in a row. I have to talk myself through this live here on air. So Packers are winning the North. I don't care if Jordy's out. The Packers are winning the North.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The North's not. People want to act like the North's good.
Who? I think the Vikings might make
because
the playoffs.
Peterson is coming back.
I think the Vikings defense is good and they might make the playoffs. But I don't think the Lions are that good. So
Well, it's like in the end, the North doesn't have that good of quarterbacks.
Who's good in the East? In the NFC? I really don't want to pick the Seahawks is really what I'm getting at. I'm trying to figure out a way to not pick the Seahawks.
Like the Eagles are a huge wild card.
Yeah, because we like Sam Bradford is their quarterback.
I actually was taking a piss. I was taking a piss at Kingston Mines yesterday next to two Eagles fans. They're like, Bradford looks fucking great, man. And I was like, you got him for 2 more weeks. Enjoy. I mean, like, I probably shouldn't talk shit to Philadelphians. But,
no.
Even they were like, yeah.
Who's in the NFC South that's good? Atlanta? Could Atlanta be good?
They could be like the bounce back team.
They're not good enough to pick to go to the Super Bowl, though.
The Saints seem like a team. Oh, the Cowboys. The Cowboys are the team that if you don't want to take the Seahawks.
Oh, yeah, that's who I'm picking.
Awesome.
That's who I'm taking. Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl. My guy Dez is going to lead them there. After getting punched in the face in practice. Yeah, Cowboys. I can't pick the Packers. Not without Jordy. Not without his deceptive speed on the outside. Though I feel like their offense, the Packers are still going to be amazing.
Yeah, Devontae Adams will be like just more athletic version of Jordy Nelson.
And then, it's Cowboy Patriots over Cowboys. That's a Super Bowl. No, the Patriots aren't going to win the Super Bowl. Their defense is screwed this year.
I think that was the end of their Super Bowl.
Well, I mean, they're going to run up the score on some people here because they're pissed. But it's their defense without Will Fork and like Revis was a huge part of that.
A lot of people like the Ravens.
Why?
Their skill position talent's terrible.
Yeah.
But their defense is always awesome.
And maybe they probably have a really good offensive line and all that. Ooh, I kind of like the Steelers. Do I think the Steelers are going to be good? I don't know why, but I think the Steelers are going to be good.
It's like that third year where the Steelers are going to be awesome. Like every third year, they're awesome for my entire life.
I'm just going to go and like statistics and NFL history and pick Cowboys over Steelers.
I like it.
I'm just going to pick the most successful teams, basically, throughout history. Cowboys over Steelers. Ben and Romo, big stage.
I would love to see Romo get one. I have really just turned into a Romo fan. Also, the Cowboys went all in on bad guys. Taking that guy who may have murdered his girlfriend from LSU. And then who's the Carolina guy? Greg Hardy, who's just the worst person on earth. who's only missing 2 games for beating his girlfriend on a pile of guns while Tom Brady's missing 4.
For doing nothing, by the way.
I tend to agree, and I hate Tom Brady. I just find it hard to believe that they're the only team that was doing this bullshit.
You got any hot fantasy tips? I don't want to say them. I feel like people in my league are going to listen to this.
I found a website that I'm going to send to you, so where you could customize your rankings based on the exact scoring of your league.
Nice. I have. I've sent you my good website before, my secret one. I can't say it out loud. That's right. This is great fodder for anybody listening here, that we have secret fantasy football websites that we don't release.
All I'll say is I'm in a league where there's 28 players. It's been going for 4 years, and there's 28 players, no waivers. Although they're adding a supplemental draft this year, which I'm against, but a 1-round supplemental draft. So the purpose of the league is you can make trades. Only make trades. It's the only way you can get players. It has been going for 4 years. I have twice won the regular season, twice won the playoffs, and been in the championship game every year. That has to end this year, right? That's just blind luck.
No, doesn't have to end, man.
Oh, well, I'm not banking. I mean, I'm not banking on going back, but I would very much like to. It's been the most. The most successful endeavor of my early 30s and late 20s in this
league. With the Bears season coming up, fantasy football is really all I have.
And your 2 lovely newborn children.
I'm talking about the NFL season, not about my life.
And your adoring wife.
I'm talking about when it comes to NFL.
This is really all I have is the Mega League, Steve.
I might resort to be one of those degenerates that just watches the NFL Red Zone.
Oh, we do that in this house. Although now that Sean kind of half lives here, I don't know if he'll order it. He always orders it.
So have you watched preseason Red Zone? Because that's like the lowest form of human being.
I didn't know. I didn't think they had it.
They do this year. I read somebody saying they do this year. And I was like, why do you want to watch it? Here's the thing. Red Zone's awesome if you have 2 TVs. Red Zone's awesome to put on the second TV. Red Zone is like watching like one of those like porn like cum shot compilations. Like it's not like the real thing. Like it's not the real thing. I don't know who watches those. Same people who watch Red Zone.
They can't deal with it. They can't deal with anything but the payoff.
Yeah.
You know who watches it? Fucking millennials and tweens. Millennials and tweens. Assholes who can't see shit develop. They just have to see the end.
Yeah, man. It's great like at a bar. Like when you have like your game, like the game you're watching on, and then you have like the Red Zone next to it, so you can see like what's going on everywhere, like during commercials and stuff. It's awesome.
But if you're at a bar, you could also just have every game on.
Well, yeah, but so you have to turn your head, and I'm not going to turn my head.
Good point.
Unless you're at a really awesome bar where you don't have to turn your head, like it's like some jumbotron of like screens, which is probably not an awesome bar. It just has an awesome TV setup. Yeah,
it's a terrible bar. It's good for like 16 Sundays a year.
And it's probably too crowded even on those Sundays to even be worth your while. Like we found my buddies, like we all went out during our like rivalry week at our fantasy league, and we went to a soccer bar because like the soccer games like are all over by noon. And we went to the side room and we called the guy, like put NFL games on like all the TVs. We just had to like let like 2 people watch a Paris Saint-Germain game in the corner. But we had like all the TVs on the NFL games, and like it was just us. It was awesome.
Zoltan.
All right, man. This has been good. Little different. Hope everybody's ready for NFL season. If you have any ideas for future lists or whatever we should do, you can email us at First of the Worst. Post them to our Facebook page or tweet them at us at First of the Worst. Anything. If you want to probably listen to both me and Brendan bitch about the Bears this season, you can follow our personal Twitter accounts at @Arendas and @Shy_Murph. And like Brendan said, he saw somebody subscribe to our podcast today.
It has happened before.
It's not that hard, I don't think. You just click a couple buttons on your phone or even maybe on your computer or iPad or iDevice. I feel like that's a thing that like people I don't like
You
say.
could probably do it on your Apple TV.
Probably. That'd be weird. But yeah, go ahead. Subscribe on your Apple TV if you got it. I would love it if you subscribed on your Apple TV. But yeah, thanks. Or Stitcher or whatever other apps you got. But thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week or talk to you next week. Later.